one of the biggest headaches I have is that if you go to even our dedicated science and technology institutions, they have more arts and social humanities students and facilities than we have our science and technology. So, Mr. Speaker, I just brought in the need for us to concentrate our research on renewable energy, other sources of renewable energy, particularly where we have the greater comparative advantage. Mr. Speaker, before I take my seat, let me also state that as a country, we have relatively a smaller carbon footprint. And therefore, at this particular stage of our development, we should also be concentrating on efficiency. One of our challenges of industrialization is that our products are uncompetitive on the global market because of high energy and other manufacturing costs. And therefore, we should not just follow fashion, but we must design processes, programs that will enhance Ghanaian renewable energy. Mr. Speaker, with these few words, I thank you for the opportunity of contributing on renewable energy. Thank you.
Hello, member. Kindly be brief. To give you the last word.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we are endowed with all the natural resources that makes renewable energy possible in our part of the world. Mr. Speaker, we have abundant sunshine, water resources, flowing rivers, winds and high tides. Mr. Speaker, there's also available technology for rooftop solar, pico dams, off-grid solutions, and also net metering, just as the earlier speakers have spoken about, Mr. Speaker. But why are we trying to promote renewable energy? Mr. Speaker, it's because we want to save the environment, as we say. But the truth is that Africa's contribution to greenhouse gases is very minuscule. That's about 2% of the global emissions come from our part of the world, or comes from Africa. We as Africans, just as my senior Honorable Donko said, need to prioritize and look at our situation. We need to industrialize. We cannot industrialize on the back of solar energy, for example. When we need base load for large industries such as steel manufacturing and companies such as Valco, that will be able to employ our teeming youth. So, Mr. Speaker, I beg to differ a bit with the maker of the statement that solar energy or renewable energy might be the way. We have to be very careful as a country that we don't fall into another disguised form of protectionism, where all the materials for some of these projects will come from Europe and other parts of the world, whilst we at a cost that eventually becomes a problem or a burden for our economies. Mr. Speaker, we have also invested heavily as countries in fossil fuel. We have recently done a project, $1 billion project in the Western region, the Ghana Gas project, the ENI project, and all these other projects that we have heavily invested in. If we are to go by this fashionista mantra, just as Dr. Donko said, we will be making our assets stranded. These are assets that we have already invested in, and we need to take advantage of them and make sure that our energy policy, yes, I know there's a lot of clamor for renewable energy globally, but we must look for solutions that are in our interest if we are to climb the tree the same way that the Europeans and Americans and Asians have climbed the tree. Mr. Speaker, in the last 30 years, China has been building coal plants and coal plants and coal plants and coal plants, polluting the world. Africa's pollution is, just as I said, minuscule. There's no, if anybody is to reduce their emissions or to contribute to the cleanup of the environment, it's these big countries that have polluted the world over the last 50, 60 years. Mr. Speaker, we have to really look at the cost-benefit analysis when it comes to some of these projects that come our way. You cannot, for renewable energy, I sincerely believe that Ghana has paid its dues with our hydroelectric plants, both Akosombo and Bui. That alone is about 1,500 megawatts or 1,600 megawatts. If that is even 5% of what we need to produce out of our mix, then we have the space to also look at using our fossil fuels to provide the base load that we need for industrialization. Mr. Speaker, with these few words, I also want to add that there's clean technology for some of these fossil fuels now. For example, we have clean coal technology, where we have supercritical equipment that produce finer coal, less ash. Even the ash we can use for other products, including cement and other products that can, other byproducts of coal. So, Mr. Speaker, we really have to take our time and craft our policies well so that it suits our interest and not the interest of others. This is a brief opportunity. Thank you.
Very well. I thought I said two contributors. Very well.
The Speaker, coming from Banda and Bui, I think I have to set the record straight because the answers tend to be documents. The Speaker, before I commence, I must commend the maker of the statement for bringing such an important issue to our attention. Because in 2013, I happened to be a member of the ECOWAS Parliament, and we went to Cape Verde, where their main source of energy was renewable energy, and that is solar and wind. Mr. Speaker, I asked who was in charge of this. The man in charge of the Renewable Energy Center in Cape Verde was a Ghanaian. I was so proud. So we have Ghanaian engineers who can rise to set a level. And that ECOWAS renewable, that Cape Verde Renewable Energy Center was financed by the Economic Community of West African States, meaning it belongs to ECOWAS. And it was headed by a Ghanaian engineer. We went there, we saw the wind farm and the solar farm, and I was so proud. The Speaker, before then, President Kufuor, before exiting power, also developed the solar 2.5 megawatt.
No,
started and NDC completed. 2.5 solar energy center in Nevrungu. The Speaker, it is true and it's a fact that President Kufuor started it. He couldn't complete. The Mills Mahama administration completed it. The Speaker, in completing the 2.5 megawatt, the first solar farm, we continued to Mangwazi to add 20 megawatts at Mangwazi in 2012-2013, which was good for the country. But Mr. Speaker, in 2013, the Bui Hydro Power Center was completed, and we realized that we spent so much in the Bui 400 megawatt Bui Hydrological Power Center. And we realized it was not enough because it could only function for some time and you have to close it. It was just complementing. The water level cannot flow 24/7. Then the Bui board between 2013 and 2015 said if the nation has spent so much in bringing this Bui dam 400 megawatts and it cannot run 24/7, why don't we add solar farm so that in the night we make use of the water, in the daytime we make use of the solar. It was on that note that in 2015 procurement processes began. In 2016 contract was awarded. So Mr. Speaker, the solar farm And Mr. Speaker, it is 250 megawatt of solar. However, because it was the first of its type, they said, let's start with only 50. If the 50 is workable, then we can roll it out. So in 2015, procurement started with only 50. The board decided on the solar because they realized that the 250 megawatt of solar, in addition to the 400 megawatt, will be very feasible because we are not going to spend on battery. And solar batteries are those that make solar power very expensive. So if already we have the transmission lines, we have all those things, we are no more going to procure battery and those things, it will be very cheap. Let's use only 50. If the 50 is okay, then every year we roll out 50, 50, up to 250. So the first 50 began. And just as it happened in Navrongo, the same thing is what happened in Bui. So to say the visionary Akufo-Addo amended the Bui Power Act and others 250 is not a fact. It's factually inaccurate. And that is the fact that I want this House to be addressed with. It is a fact that the Bui Hydro Dam itself, which is a renewable power, started in the improvement time. He couldn't complete. Liman came and continued. He couldn't complete. President Rollins brought a consultant in 1986, and that was Connie Belen. The Rollins consultant, Frank consultant that Rollins brought in 1996, was the one that President Kufuor came and continued. It is the same consultant, Connie Belen. If you don't know, I'm telling you. We need these facts. So when we are talking of vision, then say that we have a national vision for Nkrumah to Akufo-Addo. I agree. But to say that the visionary President Akufo-Addo amended the Bui Power Act and added solar, statements should not generate debate. But when there is factual inaccuracies, we must set the record.
Honourable Speaker, I love my leader on the other side so much because of his strong capacity. But I heard him mentioning that Mills, the late board consultant, to look at Bui Power in 1996. And I want to find out.
No, he said Rollins.
No, he said Mills. I heard him right. I heard him right. He said Mills in 96.
I heard Rollins.
You heard Rollins. I heard Mills.
Yes.
I heard Mills.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you know, I'm happy on this. He's a lecturer, and he needs the funds to go and teach the children. What I said was that the consultant to the Bui Power Project is called Connie Belen, and he's from France. And that President Rollins brought him to Ghana in 1996. So the research and feasibility studies and the environmental impact assessment management that Connie Belen was brought by Rollins to come and do is what President Kufuor came and built upon. And that is the environmental impact assessment that was used to continue the Bui. And that after constructing the Bui dam, we realized it cannot run 24/7. So in 2013, 2014, the President Mahama administration realized that we have to add solar so that we use the water in the night and use the solar in the daytime. And that is why in 2015, procurement processes began for the solar. In 2016, contract was awarded. In 2016, December 7th, we lost the elections. Just as we continue the President Kufuor 2.5 megawatts in Navrongo, you also came and continue the President Mahama 50 megawatt of solar. Then in 2020, even though you couldn't finish the 50%, you went and commissioned the 10% because you realized that anything could happen. So, Mr. Speaker, in terms of solar, and Mr. Speaker, I'm so proud of our engineers as a country. When His Excellency, anyway, you couldn't contest again. When my brother Kobna mentioned about Ghanaian engineers and wanted to roll in the politicians, the Speaker was a bit categorical. The Speaker, it is true. When it comes to energy, Ghana, we have the men. The Bui that I'm talking of, the CEO trained, the Chinese after constructing it, the CEO trained Ghanaian Polytechnic electrical engineers. In Akuse here, they were 31 in number. Then he sent about 10 of them to China, just to go and learn other things. Mr. Speaker, till I talk to you, the Ghanaian HND engineers who were trained in Akufo here to man the Bui Hydro Dam are those who are manning it. All the Chinese are gone. And Mr. Speaker, the solar that we are talking of is the Ghanaian contractor engineers who are working on it. So when it comes to energy, Ghana, we have the men. And I'm so proud that beyond completing the solar mega, this is the 2.5 and adding this, we went ahead to establish University for Energy and Renewable Natural Resources. Mr. Speaker, I want to add to the recommendations of the maker of the statement that the University for Energy and Natural Resources must extend its campuses to the Bui solar farm. Mr. Speaker, I'm saying this because all the natural resources that you can mention of, the water is there, the hydro dam is there, the solar farm is there, the game and wildlife reserve is there. They have all the natural resources you can make mention of. And I believe if you go on that tangent, Ghana will become the center of energy, the energy hub of the whole West African sub-region. With this few words, Mr. Speaker, I thank you for giving me the opportunity to make just these few comments and to support the maker of the statement, all the recommendations that you have given. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. I think after two statements and questions, it's true. It is time to bring proceedings to a close. And our members, unless the leadership wish to make any announcement, I'll bring proceedings to a close.
Speaker, we are in total agreement. We should adjourn.
Very well. The House is yes, Honorable Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I think we have to adjourn, but looking at the way you've been stretching yourself and doing very well to see from morning to 4, it will not be wrong if tomorrow or day after tomorrow the House can go into closed sitting to prepare ourselves awaiting the state of the nation.
The Business Committee will consider that when they meet. Yes. Honourable members, proceedings are consequently adjourned to tomorrow, 17th of February 2022.